Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Israel. This is your brother, your Aki, Yermiyah, YOSHSHAALIA, Benyahrael. And this is Real Talk. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. My Shabbat will be going into as soon as the sun rises on Sunday morning is when my Shabbat ends. From Saturday sunrise to Sunday sunrise is my Shabbat. Matthew 28, it tells you that Benyahrael went to anoint the body of the Messiah, that she went at the end of Shabbat. Matthew 28, at the end of Shabbat, in the dawn, going into a new day. So, to go into a new day, we have a lot of times from evening to evening. Let's not look at that. Let's look at what the scripture says. Do your research. I'm not even going into it. You know, I already knew it years ago. But my elder brought it back to me recently, and I said, wow, you know what? He's right. Because I already knew it. The Most High already told me, but he gave me confirmation because I've been praying on it. Been praying on it for a lot of things. I've been praying on it to have the accurate name of the Most High and our Savior, your salvation, so that I can be correct, because only one name under heaven can you be saved by. And there's a lot of different names out there. So I've been praying on that. And if I stay faithful and true to the commandments and do what he told me to do for the love of Israel, he will give me what I ask for. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. I love y'all. I love each and every one of my friends on Facebook. Those I'm on the world, I love y'all. Whatever. I love that you probably will never understand because it's unconditional. You can never do anything to me to make me stop loving you. Never. It's unconditional. You never do anything to me to make me stop loving you. You can defriend me from Facebook, defriend me from Twitter, defriend me wherever, and I still will love you because you're my peoples. Love my peoples. I'm your peoples. Matthew chapter 5. And seeing the multitude, he went up into a mountain. And when he was set, his disciples came unto him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see Yah. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of Yah. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manners of evil against you falsely for my sake. So those of us that's in this truth, you have to be poor in spirit. Those who mourn, those who are meek, those who hunger for righteousness, those who are merciful, those who are pure in heart, those who are peacemakers, those who get persecuted for Yahushua's name's sake, those who men revile because of what you follow, because of being in this truth, those who get persecuted and are spoken about in an evil way because of His truth. Verse 12 tells you something that you need to understand. And I'm going to tell you because I understand this right now. The Ruach is speaking. Rejoice. 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 And be exceedingly glad. For great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So, if they come at you because you keep a Shabbat, if they come at you because you keeping the feast days, rejoice. Stand firm, do what you're supposed to do, according to the scriptures, and rejoice. Because so they did the same thing to the prophets. And don't you want a prophet reward? Don't you want to be counted as the prophets on the day that the Messiah come back for His bride? Stop giving it to human flesh. You know, every time I go to open the book of spirit and truth, I always come to this teaching of not allowing other people to persuade you to fall away from the truth. Anybody I know is always talking about you standing firm. Because Israel has a way of falling off. Israel has a way of falling back. And I noticed that. Like I went at the book of Matthew and wanted to go there, and the Spirit said, read this. So I went into this. And it's always talking about watching out for those who are going to persecute you. Because a lot of our people don't understand that that's what Satan does. He takes those who are around you, that's close to you, to pull you away from this truth. And then when you say, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm throwing this book away, you're giving up. You're giving Satan exactly what he wants. You're giving him exactly what he wants and what he desires for you to leave it alone. Because if it was not true, if it was nothing inside of the truth that offends Satan, that causes Satan to be aware and afraid, if it didn't cause Satan to shake in his boots, he would keep you in this Bible. He will not pull you out of it. He will keep you in this Bible. He will keep you in Christianity. He will keep you in Judaism. He will keep you in Islam. He will keep you in Buddha. But when you come into this truth about knowing who you are, and who the children of Israel really are, then you start learning what you're supposed to be. We are the reflection of Yahushua. Meek, peacemakers, love and kindness, merciful. That's who we are. Our enemies can't fight against righteousness. They only can fight with wickedness. We can't fight against righteousness. They say, you ever read, it says that in the book of Proverbs, that a kind word goes a long way. And when you are talking to someone, my elder pointed this out to me. When you have a discussion, don't be standing over people. Sit down. Don't be loud. Don't be boisterous. Come. A kind word goes a long way. Because you don't have to. Aggression, anger leads to violence. And violence leads to more violence. You don't get away with that. Everybody is headstrong. Then that flesh take over. Peacemakers. Verse 10. Read again. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye, when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manners of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice, and be exceedingly glad. Great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Ye are the salt of the earth. Salt is flavor. Salt turns any food that does not have any good taste to something tasty. You know, you cook some food, just for example, let's say corn on the cob. Corn on the cob is sweet. You bite into it, it tastes good. Actually, I like corn on the cob without salt and butter. But if I add butter and salt to it, it gives to it. It makes it even more delicious. I am a vegetarian. Actually, what I am is a vegan. And I'm about to go all raw. So I'm a vegan who love vegetables the way they taste, naturally. I take anything that's natural, just put it in my mouth and just chew it. Eat it. I love it. I love it. I love to eat raw vegetables. Love it. I didn't have the taste for it before, but I have a taste for it now, even more so. You know, it's a craving for it now, to eat raw vegetables. It just came over me all of a sudden. I've been a vegetarian, and you know, I might eat pasta. I like pasta, and I might eat wheat grain rice and wheat grain bread. But when I bite into spinach that's raw, tastes good. When I bite into tomatoes that's raw, tastes good. Onions that's raw, tastes good. It's like a sweetness to me. So I like it. I love it. Tastes good to me. You gotta watch out for the GMOs. You gotta be careful where you buy them from. And everybody, you know, that's out here selling farm food, you gotta make sure that they are, you know, non-GMOs. That's why I'm collecting seeds as much as I can. But back to what I was saying. Verse 13. Ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is therefore good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under the foot of men. So it goes into, if you lose your substance, if you lose your ruach, your spirit, then you are good for nothing. And just like salt, when it's no more good, it's thrown on the ground, people walk all over it. Know and understand what he's saying. If you do not stay steadfast in this truth, you will be walked all over. Because if you lose your faith, your strength, your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding in this truth, people will walk all over you like you was nothing. Verse 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do we light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. So, you don't hide this truth. What happens is, and I'm going to be straight up, a lot of us come into this truth, and we get offended. And we walk away from this truth so fast. We use excuses that this is a white man's book. But let's look at the morality of it. Let's look at the morals of this book. This book don't teach you to be like a white man. Look at the white man nature. He is violent. He is hostile. And this goes for Hebrews as well. Violent and hostile. So that's how I look at the white man's nature. That's how I look at the Hebrews' nature, or the black man's nature, or the Chinese man's nature, or the Korean man's nature, or the East Indian man's nature. Let's look at man's nature. Let's look at humankind nature. This book teaches you morals. how to deal with your neighbor. So you tell me, if there was no creator, this book still would be my favorite book. You know why? It teaches me how to be humble. It teaches me how to deal with my next door neighbor. It teaches me how to deal with my Isha. It teaches me how to deal with my children. It teaches me how to deal with my mother, my father, my brother, my sister. It teaches me how to preserve the earth. It teaches me how to replenish the earth. It teaches me how to gather my crops. It teaches me how to watch the signs of the sun and the moon when I know that in a certain time when certain things happen and the elements come together. It teaches me how to observe all goodness and manners of righteousness. So I don't care what the Book of the Dead talk about. I don't care what these other books talk about. If it ain't teaching righteousness and how to deal with righteous people and how to deal with wicked people, how to judge righteously, I don't want it. Because this earth is full of people. How are you going to deal with them without righteous ruling? So if this book was written by the white man, which, let's see, he pollutes the air, he pollutes the sea, he pollutes the land. All that goes against this book. He persecutes people, he imprisons people, he murders people. All that goes against this book. He makes false images. He blasphemes. He walks after his own desires. He is a flesh pleaser. All that's against this book. So, I don't care what anyone says. The white man can put himself in this book all he wants. He does not represent this book in any manner, shape, or form. How do I know? I just said. Right now, who's in control of this earth? Is the ocean pure? Is the sea pure? Do we have acid rain? Is the earth replenished? Is the earth preserved? Are the animals changed from their original state? So therefore, this book goes against those who run this earth. So those who run this earth are those of white skin. Now we have some Negroes who come and will bring up some other stuff about ancient African culture. And in African culture, and these people, when you look at the African nation, the Hamites, should I say, not African, the Hamites, they were into a whole lot of wickedness. They were into having sex with animals. They were into having sex with their own sons and daughters. They were into doing all kinds of evil and wicked things. So why would I follow that? There's only one people on this earth that separate from them. Now, in all the books, you pull up any book, they will show you the craft of witchcraft. They will show you evil or things that you would say, ooh, these people was into some things. They got half dogs, half human, half animals, half humans, as their symbols, as their gods. So, okay, we look at these things. They were dealing with the fallen. The fallen couldn't deal with Israel. Israel wasn't having it. So they dealt with those who were not called by the Most High and a part of his people. If I was Satan and I wanted to gather an army on the earth, I would gather an army of those who were rejected by the Most High. Satan was rejected by the Most High, and all the angels that fell with him were rejected by the Most High, so they would have everybody else that was rejected by the Most High. Now, if I'm the Most High, and I got my set-apart people, then I give them rules and understanding and righteous judgments that they don't follow after those that's on the earth to be like them, because I want them to represent me on this earth, because you will be the only representation of me on this earth. Nobody else represents the Most High but us. That's why he is redeeming us. That's why he's bringing us back to remembrance of all things, that we will be a representation of him, because the world has tried to shut him out. And this is his world. He controlled it, he owned it, he made it. Satan got a hold of it because of sin. The Most High is righteous in all his ruling. So Satan was able to get control of it. He gave Satan control of it for an hour. Their time is about up. Now they wage a war against the set apart ones and the hidden ones. You Israelites have to understand that this is war, spiritual warfare. You have to be ready. People are walking away from this truth because they don't understand that Satan got his army, the other nations, who was rejected because they lived a foul life. He does what he wants to do. He pulled out a righteous remnant of people through a bloodline. Now all of Shem's children follow the truth. There's many Shemites still living over there in the land they call Africa. There's many children of Abraham. Look at Ishmael. And he had more children. After Sarah, our mother, died. But then through Isaac's seed, through Jacob and the 12 sons, that the seed was called, the covenant was made. The children of promise. These are his replica on this earth of hell. And we're not acting righteously. So people are walking back towards the devil and his children to learn from them. And once they start learning, they're going to know. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. These people are crazy. If they got the righteous spirit in them. If they ain't got the right spirit in them, they ain't going to see. I know a brother that is so intelligent. I'm not going to say his name. All his brothers are so intelligent. He might be related to me, too. He is so intelligent. But he does not believe in a creator at all. He believes in fairy tale like Santa Claus and Frosty the Snowman. It's sad to have all that intelligence and not have no wisdom. Sad. This is the first time y'all ever hear this phone ringing on Shabbat. Shalom. She's not here yet. Call her son home. Okay. Shalom. And I said, this is the first time you probably ever heard the phone ring. That's why my stepdaughters calling for their mama, and the mama not here. Anyway, this is warfare. This is warfare. This is warfare. And I'm going to tell you that a lot of us Akis and Akodis that know this truth, we are helping Satan when we go against our brothers and sisters that are weaker than us in this truth. When we put too much pressure on them. When we demand too much of them. Let them grow. You had to grow. I had to grow. Let them grow. I'm not going to let Satan take from me what belongs to me. Don't fight for mine. For the first time in my life, I realized that running and leaving situations ain't going to make things better. I'm staying my ground. I'm not going to say take anything. That's what Satan wants me to do. So he can kill, steal, and destroy. I'm not doing that. I'm staying my ground. You know, the Most High is blessing me with a young man that will come into this world that will be my heir. And I'm not going to let that young child not see my face. If it's God's will, then he come into this world. See, I'm working on truth, and I'm working on spirit, and I'm working on faith. Because it's going to be very difficult for this child to come into this world. But I'm praying for him. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this child is coming into this world in a way that most of y'all would not know. But according to science, you shouldn't be even thought of according to science, then it shouldn't happen. There's a small probability it could. But I believe so that he will be. And his name shall be Yermiyah. And Yermiyah shall be just like Yermiyah of the scriptures. He will be much better than me, deeper into this truth, and he will be one of those that go into the wilderness. I believe that during the time of my life, I will be struck down somewhere from either illness or because of the enemy. And y'all willing, I will see you at the finish line when the Messiah come back. And I'm not worried about that right now. Worried about the finish is this race and teaching as the Most High want me to teach. I'm just right now talking and reading scriptures. To give you understanding how we ought to be. We all of us need to be. Verse 15, neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it gives light unto all that are in the house. So if you are a light, you will be so bright that everybody in the house will see your brightness. Is your light shining bright in your house, in your community, at your job? Verse 16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify Abba, which is in heaven. See, this is what I'm talking about. I have fallen short of this. Because if I would have let my light shine the way it was supposed to shine, my Abba would be glorified. But because of me, my Abba got cursed. When it came to dealing with those who are weak in this truth, because of being so zealous and overzealous like the Pharisees. But I pray the Most High have mercy on my soul. And I'm teaching my brothers and sisters this is the same thing with you. We have to let our light shine that the Abba get praised because they see us. We are a reflection of Him because we are the nation. And I just got finished saying, we are the only ones on this earth that reflect Him. Everybody else reflects Satan. We'll read verse 16 again. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Abba which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to destroy the law. Verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets, meaning prophecies. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, to all be fulfilled. So, until heaven and earth pass, now one jot or one tittle of this law shall pass away. So, what does that mean? Because the Christian church says that, oh, well, the law is done away with. But he says here, verse 18, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, to all be fulfilled. Everything ain't fulfilled because he's not sitting on his kingdom in heaven, in earth, and rule for 1,000 years. That's a prophecy that he will rule on this earth. That hasn't been fulfilled. So if that hasn't been fulfilled, the law is not done away with. So everybody sit there and say that the law is done away with is not done away with. Even when he is on his throne in the book of Zechariah, he tells you that from year to year, that the nation must come up to Jerusalem, and worship him on a day called the Feast of Tabernacles. On the Feast of Tabernacles, they're going to come up. So people say that the law is done away with. It's not done away with because all is not fulfilled. Oh, he fulfilled it all when he died on the tree. How? How did he fulfill it? He's not in his kingdom. He's not running the earth. Satan's still running the earth, so everything is not fulfilled. All the prophecies are not fulfilled. It's not done away with. So you're still under it. Right? Let's see what he said. Verse 18, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, to all be fulfilled. To all of the prophecies, all that was written, be fulfilled. Israel being back in their land, without any strangers passing through, without any danger. The kingdom of Yahushua is reigning over the earth. All the enemies are done and put away with. Satan is inside of his pit. All be fulfilled. Verse 19, whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men, so what commandments? Up until this point, he ain't mentioned no commandments. So we talk about the commandments of Moshe, of Moses. And we talking about not just the 10 commandments, but all of the commandments, the dietary laws, the purification. How can you justify you being a woman going into the church on Sunday with your period on, your menses, whatever you call your menses, you know, your menstrual cycle on, being inside the church? Spirit of Most High is not in there anyway, but how can you justify that? And you men, how can you justify going to sleep last night and having sex with your wife and then even take a shower and you got semen in your underwear and you up inside the temple that you call the temple of the church? Thanks be to Most High that he's not in there, because all y'all be dead. Y'all be struck down. Seriously, y'all be struck down. But y'all think that y'all can do what y'all want because y'all gotta keep the law. That's a lie to have y'all sinning. Don't y'all even see that? Don't you even think that nature teaches you that if a woman is on a cycle, then she should be set apart? Why would you even want to be on the street when you gotta worry about leaking on yourself and exposing yourself at you at that time of the month? Well, isn't that a private time? Why would you be on the world? That tells you right then and then that it's wrong, because you checking yourself. You feeling yourself, making sure there's nothing wet. Come on now. I mean, let's really be real. Really just talk some real stuff. They're telling you right there and then, your own conscience telling you, because you checking yourself to make sure that you ain't exposing that is your time of the month. That tells you shouldn't even be out there. This world is wicked and turns things upside down. And because it turns upside down, don't mean that you gotta follow it. You follow it because you choose to, but you think that there's no other way. Turn back to the old ways. Trust in the Most High. Most people don't do that. Verse 19 again. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. Or whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So whoever teach not to keep these commandments will be called least in the heaven. Whoever teach men to do the commandments will be called great in the heavens. So that tells you right there that, you know, if you teach people to do the opposite of what he's saying and keep his commandments, you will be called the least in the kingdom. Verse 20. For I say unto you, and it also says that, and also telling you that some people who teach against the commandments may be inside of the kingdom of heaven, because maybe their experience was right and they thought they was right by not keeping the commandments. Because it said, if you teach, those who teach not to do so will be called least in the kingdom. Least, but they're still in the kingdom. That's deep. Repeat what he's saying. For I say unto you, verse 20, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. So unless you are better than the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the scribes, you won't enter into the kingdom of heaven. You won't enter the kingdom of heaven. So what I said, let's go back over top 1, back chapter 5, verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are they that mourn. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are they that hunger. Blessed are the pure in heart. Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are they that persecute, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you. These are those that's going to make it into the kingdom. Standing fast in this truth. That's not going to be given to every way of doctrine that come along. Some people, soon they hear something, like welcome back Carter, so they hear something, I heard them say this, and it was them. You just, I hate to use the word, I ain't going to use the word, but you're just a rider. You jump from one motorcycle to the next, and I'm just saying it real nicely, like, you can jump from one motorcycle to the next. As soon as you hear somebody say this that sound intelligent, you jump right on it. You ain't even finished riding this Yamaha, and you want to jump on this Hakasaki or whatever. You want to jump on this Mitsubishi or this BMW bike. Before you finish learning how to drive this Yamaha, or you finish learning how to drive this Honda, you want to jump on something new real quick. Finish where you started. Go and finish where you started. And once you finish it, then if you feel that you gotta study something else. But you jump, you welcome back Carter. You welcome back Carter for real. Because you jump from one thing to another, you extreme. But yeah, we are called extremists that's in this truth. We call religious. Religious is somebody that jump from one philosophy to another, dealing with physical things. You don't want nothing that keeps you grounded. You want to be able to bounce, and you want to be free to learn this and learn that. That's what happened to Israel in the beginning. Going all over the place. Not staying settled. Not understanding what it is to deal with the Most High and not deal with other nations. You want to learn all this other crafty counsel and all this old foolishness. That's what Israel do. So I'm witnessing it live and direct. I'm witnessing the truth being told. I'm witnessing prophecy being fulfilled. I know people who have come into this truth, and I know they're going to walk right out this truth and follow something else. Don't keep the Shabbats no more and nothing. Ain't been in it that long. They don't found some new doctrine. I know people who been in this truth 10, 15 years, 20 years, brought up in the truth, whole family in this truth that I know of, that walked off. I'm not going anywhere. Staying right here. I know what time it is. I can be slow, I can be dumb, I can be religious, I can be extremist. Call me whatever you want to call me. But guess what? If I make it in that finish line and you don't, you're going to be mad. You're going to be grinding your teeth. Because I made it in, you didn't, and you're going to realize that you should listen to what I said. When the Ruach was using me to talk to you. Many are called, a few are chosen, but I'm praying for Israel. And like I said, I believe wholeheartedly that if I keep the commandments, if I live according to the commandments, live according to the law, loving and worshiping and praising the Almighty Yah, and giving honor to his son Yahusha, and going out there in the byways and the highways and gathering his children and giving his truth and waking up to those who are asleep and going to the be a light to the Gentiles. If I do and accomplish everything he tells me to do, then I can go to the kingdom and he give me all that I ask for. I can pray and ask for those of my people who are not going to make it in on their own. So if you walk away from this truth, I'm going to do my thing to make sure that you make it into the kingdom. If he gives that to me, that's my devotion towards Israel. That I'm going to put myself out there to do this will of the Most High for those who can't do it. And if he give me what I ask for, I'm asking for the whole nation from the time they were born, from Abraham to the time he came and ruled on this earth. Every last one, Hebrew, those who said crucify the Messiah, those who stole the prophets, those who died, cheat, steal, killed, murdered, everything, so that all the nations of the earth know that not one Israelite was lost and all was redeemed, so they can't say nothing against our king and nothing against our hour. Because I love my people, just like he loved them. And I'm gonna do this for them, but before I'm doing this for our Yah, to give him honor. Because he loved righteousness. He loved when we do things for those who don't deserve it, because we didn't deserve it, so he sent his son. It's the same thing. He sent his son for people that did not deserve it. When he told Abraham to sacrifice his son, and when his son was going to sacrifice Isaac, and then he saw the ram caught in the thicket, he knew right there and then that the Most High sent the sacrifice. That was a symbol of the Messiah coming. When we put the blood on the doors in Egypt, so the death angel will pass over, that was a symbol, a sign of the Messiah coming. So let us know right now that we are to do the same thing for our brothers and sisters that might not make it. We have to cover them. We have to pray for them. We have to step in the order and be like the Messiah is, as he is for us, a mediator for us between ours. We have to get ourselves to the point where our grandmothers and grandfathers who are past without this truth can make it in. I believe that. Now, it might not happen, but I believe that he's all righteous. And he will give those who do the will of him perfectly and complete their task. And if he would have honored them, he will give them what they ask for. Because he's honorable and faithful. He's not like man. He don't turn his back. So if he gives us what we ask for, then let's ask for all of Israel to come in. Whether they deserve it or not, because none of us deserve it. You've been listening to Yermiyah, YOSHSHAALIA, Benyahrael, and this is Real Talk. Shabbat Shalom. Love you, Israel. And I'm going to keep saying this. If I don't see you no time in life, Yah will, and I see you at the finish line. But definitely, I will see you on Judgment Day. Shalom.